We all know the story of the Zen master and the overflowing cup.
I know this story, Uncle. My cup is full. I get it.
Knowing the story is easy, living it is not. Now, walk.
Wei found Shen at the river before sunrise. Mist lay low. Reeds breathed slowly. The water moved like it was trying not to wake the stones. Wei didn't sit. He had a bundle of scrolls under one arm, loose papers, copied sayings, notes in cramped ink. His mouth was already open. "I've read enough to fix myself," he said, "but my head is worse. I wake up heavy. I study, I plan, I gather advice, and I feel more behind." Shen didn't look at the scrolls. He watched a leaf circle once in a small eddy, then slide out of it. Wei's voice sped up, like running would outrun shame. "I know what everyone says. Slow down, focus, empty your cup. I know the story." Shen poured tea into a small clay cup. Thin steam, quiet warmth. He poured until the tea climbed the rim. It trembled. A single drop slid over and fell. Wei flinched, annoyed. "Uncle," Wei said quickly, "I know. I'm full. Yes, my cup is full." Shen set the kettle down. He nodded once, as if hearing weather. "Then show me an empty cup," he said. Wei blinked. Shen didn't explain. He didn't correct. He didn't comfort. He filled a second cup, smaller, brim full. He placed it in Wei's hands. The tea was hot. Wei instinctively tightened his grip. Shen turned and began walking toward the village path. Wei followed, confused. He tried to speak again. "I mean, my problem is—" The cup trembled. A ripple rose. A drop spilled onto Wei's thumb. It burned. Wei hissed. Shen stopped, turned back, walked toward the river again. Wei stared. "Wait," Wei said. "What are you doing?" Shen kept walking. Wei hurried after him. At the waterline, Shen took the cup back. He refilled it. He placed it in Wei's hands again. Only then he spoke. "If it spills," Shen said, "we return." Wei swallowed. They started again. Wei's steps shortened. His shoulders rose. His eyes locked onto the surface of the tea like it was a test he could fail. Mist clung to their sleeves. A bird rattled somewhere unseen. Wei's mind fought for words. He wanted to prove he understood. He wanted Shen to say, "Good." His mouth opened. The tea quivered. Wei clamped his lips shut. They walked. Ahead, the village road appeared. Lanterns still burned in a few doorways. A rooster cut the air with one harsh cry. Voices gathered. Han, you could hear him before you saw him. Not foolish, not cruel, practical. A leader trying to keep a village from tearing itself apart. Wei saw them in the square, two men facing each other like drawn blades. One was the oil seller. His sleeves were stained. His hands shone faintly, slick from work. The other man stood too straight, too loud, his face clean, his hands clean, his chin high. A few villagers hovered in a tight half-circle. Han stood between them, palms out. "Enough," Han said. "No shouting. Give me facts." The oil seller's voice shook. "My pouch was tied here, on my belt. I was pouring. My hands were busy." He swallowed. "I felt someone press close behind me." He pointed without drama. "Him!" The other man lifted his chin. "I stood behind you because the line was moving," he said, "and because your oil splashes." The oil seller's eyes flashed. "When I turned, immediately, he stepped back, too fast." The other man laughed once, or like a man avoiding oil.
The oil seller reached toward the accused man's hand and pointed at the pouch he was holding. "That pouch," he said, voice cracking, "is mine." The accused man jerked it back. "No," he said, "this pouch is mine." The crowd tightened like a knot. 2 stories, 1 pouch. Han's hand cut the air. "Stop!" Han looked at the ground, at faces, at the pouch. No witness, no certainty, only noise. Wei felt the old hunger rise in his chest. Step in, speak, win, be useful. Han saw Wei approach, and relief flickered. "Wei," Han called. "Good. Tell me, do I punish a man on a feeling? Do I let an honest seller swallow loss?" Wei turned his head toward Han. The tea moved. A drop slipped over the rim. Shen turned back at once. No anger, no disappointment, just return. Wei froze, then hurried after him. At the river, Shen poured the cup out again, refilled it again, placed it back in Wei's hands. Wei's jaw tightened. "You're doing this on purpose," Wei muttered. Shen said nothing. They walked again. This time, Wei didn't look for words. He watched the tea. He listened to his steps, the sound of cloth, the soft scrape of sandals. Han's voice rose again as they neared the square. "If I choose wrong," Han said, "I create an enemy. If I do nothing, the village learns stealing is cheap." The crowd pressed closer. The accused man smiled, enjoying the air. Wei felt his tongue itch. A sentence formed. He swallowed it. He walked. The tea stayed still. And because he wasn't talking, because he wasn't performing, because his eyes weren't busy searching for victory, Wei saw small things. The oil seller's belt rope was frayed from use. His knot was tight, practiced. The accused man's pouch cord was darker, not dirty, just slick in one place, like fingers had wiped it clean too quickly. Wei's gaze dropped to the man's sleeves. One cuff held a faint shine that caught the first light. Grease, not from cooking, not from smoke, from work. Wei breathed once, low. The tea didn't move. They reached the stone steps near the meeting hall. Shen stopped. He took the cup from Wei's hands. He poured the tea onto the ground. The earth drank it without complaint. Wei exhaled like he'd been holding his lungs hostage. Shen looked toward the arguing men. He didn't say, "Now." He simply waited. Wei's throat tightened, not from pride, from clarity.
Wei walked back into the square. Han's eyes snapped to him. Wei didn't raise his voice. He didn't accuse. He only said, "Bring a basin." Han frowned. "What?" "Clear water," Wei said. "A wooden basin. Here, in front of everyone." The accused man laughed. "A basin?" he mocked. "We wash truth now?" Han didn't like delays, but he liked tests. He nodded once. "Bring it," Han said. A woman hurried with a basin of water. The surface shook in her hands. Han held out his palm. "Oil seller," he said, "give me 1 coin from your pouch." The seller blinked, startled. "My pouch is gone," he whispered, furious and ashamed at once. "That one is mine." He pointed at the accused man's pouch again. Han's eyes stayed flat. "Then give me 1 coin you have," Han said. "From your pocket, from your sleeve, any coin you owned before today." The seller fumbled, found 1 copper coin. His fingers left a faint shine on it. Han turned to the accused man. "And you," Han said, "2 coins. From that pouch you claim is yours." The accused man's grin returned, gladly. He untied the pouch and let copper clink into his palm. He chose 2 coins quickly, as if selecting stones. Han took the 3 coins. No speeches, no arguing. He dropped the accused man's 2 coins into the basin first. Plink, plink. They sank. They sat on the bottom like sleepy fish. Nothing changed. The accused man spread his hands. "See?" he said. Han didn't look up. He dropped the oil seller's coin in next. Plink. At first, nothing.
Then the surface changed. Not a wave, not a splash. A thin skin, a faint shimmer that caught the dawn like a quiet rainbow. A few villagers leaned closer. Han's gaze sharpened. Wei said nothing. Han held a hand to silence the crowd before it spoke. The accused man's smile faltered. Han turned the basin slightly so the light hit the surface. The sheen stayed. It widened like a slow breath. Han's voice dropped. "Oil," he said. The oil seller's face went white. The accused man laughed too loudly. "That proves nothing," he snapped. "He sells oil. Of course his coin has oil." Han nodded once. Then he looked at Wei. Wei finally spoke. "One more," Wei said. Han held out his hand again. "Accused," Han said. "Drop your pouch coins 5, right now." The accused man hesitated. Only a blink, but the blink was loud. Han's eyes went cold. The man forced a laugh and tipped 5 coins into Han's palm.
Han dropped them into the basin. Plink, 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 and the surface answered. The faint shimmer thickened immediately, a wider sheen, a clearer halo. The crowd went still, not silence from respect, silence from certainty. Han looked at the accused man. Now he didn't need speeches, he didn't need witnesses, he didn't need threats. He only needed one question. "Where did your coins learn oil?" Han asked. The accused man swallowed. His mouth opened, closed. Han held out his hand. "The pouch," Han said. "Now." No debate, no theater. The accused man's eyes flicked once toward the alley. His feet shifted. 2 men stepped behind him quietly. The accused man's shoulders sank. He reached inside his robe and pulled out the pouch. The seam showed a dark, slick smear. The oil seller made a sound like a wounded animal. Han took the pouch, pressed it into the seller's hands. Then Han looked at the thief, not with rage, with disgust. "Go," Han said, "and if you steal again, you won't leave walking." The man stumbled away, head down, the crowd parting like water. The square breathed again. Whispers returned. Not triumph, not celebration, just people realizing how close they were to tearing each other apart over words. Han looked at the basin again, at the sheen still floating, a proof no one could shout down. Then Han turned to Wei. "How did you see it?" he asked. Wei could have answered with 10 sentences. He didn't. He said the truth in one. "I wasn't talking," Wei said. Han stared, annoyed because it was too simple. Then he waved the men away. "Back to work," Han said, and his voice wasn't sharp now, just steady. Wei followed Shen back to the river. The scrolls under his arm felt heavier than the cup had. Mist clung to the reeds. The water kept moving, indifferent. Wei stood beside Shen and lowered his voice. "So that was it?" he asked. "The cup?" Shen didn't answer at first. He rinsed the clay cup in the river, slow, careful. Then he said, "You came here carrying answers." Wei's jaw tightened. Shen looked toward the village, where the shouting had already turned into normal life again. "If I told you to be quiet," Shen said, "you would have argued. If I told you to focus," he said, "you would have explained how you already know." He placed the cup back into Wei's hands. This time it was empty. Shen's voice stayed flat. "When you carry tea, your mouth becomes expensive. Your steps become careful. Your eyes stop hunting for applause." Wei swallowed. He remembered the slick cord, the faint shine on the cuff, the shimmer on the water. Shen nodded once, as if confirming weather. You carried tea, so your mind stopped carrying noise. Wei exhaled. He set the scrolls down on a river stone. Not dramatic, just done. The river took the sound away, and Shen added one last line, soft as a blade. Useful silence is not empty. It's steady,